Every AT Walker variant explained. Which AT Walker could topple armies with a single step, and which one hides deadly surprises under its legs? Step into the galaxy of colossal war machines, where every walker carries secrets, strategy, and unstoppable power waiting to be revealed. AT-AT, the Icon. The all-terrain armored transport, better known as the AT-AT, is perhaps the most recognizable walker in all of Star Wars. First revealed in The Empire Strikes Back, this towering machine stood at an incredible 22.5 meters, instantly dwarfing rebel forces and striking fear into anyone who faced it. Designed as both a heavy assault vehicle and a troop transport, the AT-AT carried stormtroopers and speeder bikes directly into battle while unleashing devastating firepower. Its most unforgettable moment came during the Battle of Hoth, where entire rebel defenses crumbled beneath the weight of these mechanical giants. Their slow, deliberate march was as much psychological warfare as tactical strategy, embodying the terrifying dominance of the Empire. Beyond the original design, rare variants appeared, such as the Jungle AT-AT, adapted for swampy terrain, and later, the First Order introduced upgraded walkers that built upon the iconic frame. Whether on icy plains, forest terrain, or in cinematic history, the AT-AT remains a lasting symbol of Imperial might and one of the most legendary vehicles ever put to screen. What made the AT-AT so unforgettable was not just its firepower, but the sheer spectacle of its towering presence. AT-ST, the Scout. After towering over the battlefield with the mighty AT-AT, it is only fair to look at its smaller, yet equally iconic cousin, the AT-ST. The all-terrain scout transport, or AT-ST, may not have been as massive as its big brother, yet it carved out its own role as a vital part of Imperial strategy. Standing at around 8.6 meters tall, this two-legged walker quickly earned the nickname Chicken Walker because of its bird-like stride. First seen in action during the Battle of Endor and Return of the Jedi, the AT-ST was designed for reconnaissance, light combat, and flanking maneuvers. While the AT-AT thundered forward as a weapon of fear, the AT-ST darted through forests and uneven terrain to provide quick support. It carried lighter armor, which made it vulnerable to concentrated fire or even clever traps, yet its agility allowed it to outmaneuver heavier walkers. In Legends material, engineers experimented with upgraded versions, arming the AT-ST with heavier cannons and side turrets to push it closer toward frontline combat. These variations never replaced the standard model, but they showed the versatility of the design. Although often being remembered for being toppled by Ewoks' logs and ropes, the AT-ST still proved itself as a mobile weapon that gave the Empire speed where brute strength was not enough. AT-RT, Clone Wars Recon. Shifting from Imperial icons to the days of the Republic, we find the nimble AT-RT, or all-terrain recon transport. This small, one-man walker was the complete opposite of massive armored transports. With an open cockpit and light frame, the AT-RT offered speed and visibility rather than protection. It could quickly scout ahead, patrol rough terrain, or provide light fire support during infantry pushes. Its agility made it valuable during the Clone Wars, though its minimal armor left pilots exposed to blaster fire and ambushes. Audiences saw the AT-RT in Revenge of the Sith, most memorably during Order 66, when these walkers turned against the Jedi alongside their clone riders. In that moment, the AT-RT became more than just a recon vehicle. It became a symbol of the Republic's fall and the cold rise of the Empire. Do you think clones felt more secure riding these light recon walkers, or did the exposed design make them constantly aware of danger? AT-TE, Clone Wars Tank. Moving from light recon to raw firepower, the Republic's answer to heavy combat was the AT-TE, the all-terrain tactical enforcer. The six-legged behemoth functioned as the Republic's main battle tank during the Clone Wars. Armed with a massive top-mounted heavy cannon and multiple laser turrets, it was designed to blast through enemy lines while carrying squads of clone troopers inside. Unlike agile scout units, the AT-TE relied on sheer durability and overwhelming firepower. Its slow but steady advance could tip the scales in battles like Geonosis, where waves of these walkers marched into the heart of Separatist defenses. Although the Empire later shifted focus toward the towering AT-AT, the AT-AT's reliability kept it in service for years. In Legends, refurbished models even found new life in the hands of rebel groups who valued their toughness despite their age. Would you rather command an AT-AT from the safety of its armored hull or ride a nimble scout walker and risk exposure for speed? AT-AP, Specialist Firepower. After the Republic's heavy tanks, another walker filled a more precise battlefield role, the AT-AP, or All-Terrain Attack Pod. This unique three-legged design stood out with its stabilizing third leg, which anchored the walker when firing its massive heavy cannon. Though smaller than the AT-TE, the AT-AP delivered deadly accuracy, making it perfect for artillery support and defensive strikes. It could bombard enemy armor, reinforce clone infantry, and hold key positions with long-range firepower. Viewers spotted the AT-AP in Revenge of the Sith and across the animated Clone Wars series, where its focused blasts often shifted the tide of skirmishes. Its strength was not in speed or carrying capacity, but in the devastating punch it brought to a single shot. Would you trust an AT-AP's precise fire to cover your advance, or would you prefer the brute force of an AT-TE pushing forward? AT-DP, Imperial Patrol Walker. As the Republic gave way to the Empire, walkers were not just built for open battlefields, they were reshaped for urban control. Enter the AT-DP, the All-Terrain Defense Pod. Taller and bulkier than the AT-ST, this two-legged walker featured heavier forward armor and a more imposing design. It was not meant to rush across deserts or swamps, but to stride through city streets and keep local populations in line. The AT-DP became a symbol of Imperial presence, a moving reminder of authority that could suppress unrest as much through intimidation as through firepower. Audiences saw the AT-DP in Star Wars Rebels, where its towering profile and steady patrols showed how the Empire adapted its war machines for everyday dominance over occupied worlds. Would seeing one of these walkers patrolling your city make you feel safe, or only remind you of who was really in charge? AT-DT, Imperial Siege Walker. While some walkers patrolled streets, others were built to rain fire on strongholds. The AT-DT, or All-Terrain Defense Turret, filled this specialized role. Known from the game Star Wars Commander, this Legends design was less famous than the towering AT-AT, yet it carried a unique battlefield purpose. Equipped with a massive artillery cannon, the AT-DT acted like a mobile siege weapon. It could shell enemy positions from a distance, break through fortified lines, or anchor a defense by delivering heavy covering fire. Unlike faster or more versatile walkers, the AT-DT was still slow and vulnerable if caught off guard. Still, its presence on the battlefield meant enemies could never ignore it, since one well-placed blast could change the course of a skirmish. Would you place your trust in a lumbering artillery walker like the AT-DT, or rely on faster units to keep the fight moving? AT-ACT, Cargo Variant. Not every walker was built to crush enemies head-on. Some were designed to keep the Empire supplied and mobile. The AT-ACT, or All-Terrain Armored Cargo Transport, was one such example. First seen in Rogue One, this towering machine looked similar to the classic AT-AT, but with key differences. It was even larger, with expanded storage compartments that allowed it to haul massive amounts of equipment, resources, and even construction materials. However, the trade-off was thinner armor, making it far less durable in battle. During the Battle of Scarif, these walkers showed how vital logistics were to the Empire's power. Even in the heat of combat, the AT-ACT demonstrated that keeping supplies moving was just as crucial as fielding weapons. If you were commanding a siege, would you risk deploying a weaker cargo walker like the AT-ACT to keep resources flowing, or keep it hidden behind the front lines? AT-AA, Anti-Air Walker. Ground dominance was not enough for the Empire, so Legends introduced walkers that looked upward to the skies. The AT-AA, or All-Terrain Anti-Aircraft, was one of those specialized machines. Appearing in games like Empire at War, this walker resembled a smaller version of the AT-AT, but carried heavy turret-mounted cannons designed to blast starfighters out of the sky. Its purpose was not troop transport or siege fire, but focused on air defense. When deployed, the AT-AA could form a protective shield for advancing Imperial forces, deterring enemy bombers and fighters from striking vulnerable ground units. Although it never appeared on-screen canon, the AT-AA reflected how the Empire's engineers experimented with walkers tailored for very specific threats. Walkers stomp, battle, and dominate like living war machines, shaping every conflict in their path. If you enjoyed exploring these colossal war beasts, make sure to like, subscribe, and share to keep the Star Wars journey marching forward. May the Force be with you.